good education and good Islamic upbringing, then we will fail our community, we will fail the Muslim Ummah, we will fail this society, this country. So that can be impediment. A lot of students, unfortunately, because they assume that if student loan is prohibited, then um, they're not going to university, higher education, right? So what my view, these are this difference of opinion among the scholars. My view, if you can get alternative, alhamdulillah. If you can't, then people, my view and other scholars that have said that student loan is allowed for one to take, right? The other thing is that you as a parent, we as a parent need to be at the forefront of your children's education. What do I mean by that? A lot of, when the Labour government came into power, there's a lot of focus on education, but one of the problems that they had is that not everyone will need to or will go into higher education. So you had degrees, people doing degrees on some in my opinion, nonsensical stuff. Yeah, that you don't really need to do a degree on. Go to university, you can do a course or study with other people or read a book or two. Right? So there have been a lot of degrees, people have been doing it, but it really has not benefiting them. So guide your children. And this is where mentorship comes. This is where mentorship comes. Really, really important. I remember when a while back when I was an imam at another mosque in London, alhamdulillah, we had a lot of youth come to the mosque and stuff. One of the young, I remember the young children. I don't know what I did, but alhamdulillah, I did something right. Some of the young children were 10, 11 years old, no more than 13, 14, right? So some of them, they would come, Imam, I want to be exactly like you. I want to be exactly like you. And you know what I said to them? No, don't be like me, right? Be better than me, right? Be better than me. Become a scientist, become a doctor, and become a mufassir also. And that has been my aim, right? That has been my aim for my own children, inshallah, and also for the Muslim community. It's not impossible. It's not impossible. We just need to work hard with our children. Yeah, we need to give more effort, right? If we haven't more for our children, and I think mentorship really, really is really, really important, right? Sometimes parents can't do that, but sometimes you find someone who can mentor your children. Yeah, and this is something that I've been thinking for a while, and hopefully, inshallah, I want to roll out something at least online, a mentorship program, right? Where once the children, when they between the age of 7 and maybe 15, yeah, 13, 14, right? There's a time for you to spend a lot of time with your children. Yeah. From the age of 6, 7 to 13, 14, these are the time, because these are the time where they're able to think and you're able to navigate and guide them. Beyond that, after that time, it becomes difficult. Because when they're 15, 16, 18, like, well, I'm a man now. Right? You can't tell me what to do. But when they're 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, right? They're dependent on you. And they will do what you do, and they will do what you say to them. So you have to learn how to, educate them and speak to them, become a friend with them, become a pal with them, but have that reverence and respect as a parent, obviously. So it's really, really important, brothers and sisters, that what I say, that you don't take for granted, right? And I'm sure you don't, right? I'm sure you are practicing, implementing what I've said today, right? This is a reminder for myself and a reminder everyone else, right? If we want to fill up our mosques, most mosques, when I give, even at Imam Center, when I look at even the front lines, I see old people, right? Yes, the children might be in college or university or whatnot, but even during the holiday time, yes, children do come because of the parents, but not all of them come. So who are going to fill up the mosques when our elders pass away? We'll all have to pass away sometime. Who's going to, it's a big issue, big problem, right? It's not the youth that fill up the mosques. Generally, it is our elders who fill up the mosques. When the elders pass away, when we depart this world, who's going to look after our mosques? Who's going to look after our Islamic tarbiyah education? So we have to make Islamic education, Islamic tarbiyah, accessible, fun, right? It's not easy. It's easy said than done. But I think, if you have children who are 6, 7, 8, 9, this is the time, brothers and sisters, right? you have to be strict with them, right? You have to discipline them, right? We have to discipline them because there are a lot of distractions. Yes, you know, you have YouTube now, you have TikTok, you have social media and whatnot. There are a lot of discussions. And when I was growing up, we didn't have any of this. We used to go out and play with marbles, if you remember, right? And that was for us really fun. Now, you know, children, they have so many different gadgets. So it is more difficult for us as parents to distract them away because they don't want to go and learn about the Quran and Arabic and Islamic studies. It is which are boring in their eyes, and but they rather watch a YouTube video or play a game. So it is very difficult, but it's not impossible. If you come together, put our minds together, right? You know, I've been a madrasa a teacher for a long time before, and you know, one of the things that madrasas fail is one of the reasons because madrasas for parents are treated as a place you take your children just to babysit. You can have a breather for a couple of hours a day, and the mosque and the teacher and the imam can babysit. And with that attitude, and that's with the attitude, many parents go into madrasa and send their students to madrasa, and that is why they don't come out learning the Quran. They don't come out, you know, liking Islam. Well, it has to be two way. The teachers need to put effort in, but also the parents need to put extra effort. The parents need to, you know, at home, you know, give that extra attention, right? And for some parents, they expect, you know, they expect, for example, to pay their mosque, you know, £5 or £10 a month or £20 a month, and they expect the teacher to do the lesson plans and all that. It's impossible. It's impossible, right? You know, if we pay a math teacher or a professor of maths, he will not take less than probably 30, 40, £50 an hour. Whereas when you look at a scholar studied, you know, 10 years, 15 years, Arabic and Quran, the level of as a doctor, professor, but you pay that person £5 an hour, of course he's not going to give that much attention. It's psychological, it's logical. So point is that, you know, we have to value Islamic education, and when we value both psychologically, spiritually, financially, and physically. Unless we do that, brothers and sisters, we will not have Ibn Taymiyyah and Imam Ghazali, the Abu Hanifa, and Imam Shafi, right? We will not have Al-Biruni, right? Ibn Sina, right? And others who mastered polymaths, who mastered both the Islamic studies as well as the secular studies. So those students who've got, you know, who didn't get good grades, predicted grades, right? It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. It's a chance for you to take a step back and maybe, you know, perhaps take the exam next year. Take a gap year. Learn other skills. Learn a skill, for example. It's important to teach children to learn skills. Students who go to school now, right? Even when we were going to school, right? A lot of, probably about 70% or 60% what they do is not really beneficial, right? They don't learn how to speak. They don't know creativity skills. They don't learn entrepreneurship and whatnot. So we have to buttress our children with these skills. A lot of the stuff that even they teach, it's a waste. It's a waste, really. It's a waste. So we have to understand what the problems are, what the gaps are, and as parents, as teachers, as community leaders, wherever we are, provide good alternatives, inshallah. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you. May Allah, you know, I'm really passionate about this. Really, you know, education for our children should be the utmost priority. Forget about buildings, you know, mosques for about £10 million. Who's gonna, you know, occupy those mosques when we leave? And this is the, unfortunately, you know, we can build a building for £10 million, but we cannot finance an Islamic education tarbiyah program for £100 or £200 or £1,000 or whatnot. This is why the ummah is in this state. This is why the ummah is in this state. Unless we change our attitude and mentality individually and then collectively, right, we will not succeed individually and as a community. So may Allah bless you, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us to what is best. I'll leave it open here now for any comments or questions, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum. Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. That was really good reminder. Actually, interesting you to say that, because I think I remember thinking as in the polymaths of our the intellects of our past, as in they were multifaceted. They had so many skills in different areas, but they were all grounded in the kind of the deen. And I think that is a really important thing to kind of raise. You can be a mathematician, you can be a doctor, you can be a scientist, etc. But you need to have the right grounding, because if you don't have the right grounding, then it's like you're building knowledge in the wrong way as well.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, we have a question. Oh, no, we don't have a question. We have a donate URL that has been shared on the chat. Please, everyone, obviously donate as the mosque is closed. We do need money to run as well. Okay.
And you know, one other thing I would say, brothers and sisters, yeah, I've never kind of like, look, yeah, finance, Mary, is a worry. Finance and money is a worry for people, and also kind of Islamic organization and stuff. That's the worry, yeah. But to me, the way I look at it, I've said this before, I've never worried about, meaning that we should, as a community, we should not worry about money. The problem we have is that, you know, we don't have the collective mindset. We don't have the right collective mindset. We don't have the right collective will. That's for me, you know, anecdotally about observations. I think that's more thingy, because we have plenty of money in the community. You know, we can build a mosque, right? I'm not talking about Iman Center. Iman Center needs a lot of money, right? But there are many mosques, you know, 10 million pounds, 20 million pounds. So the money is there. The money is there. We're not poor. Collectively, we're not poor as a Muslim community. We don't have the right attitude. We don't have the right mindset. We don't have the right will. So if the will is there, we'll never worry about money. That's why Umar al-Khattab, remember the story, famous story, when he gathered after, you know, when he during his presidency, during his caliphate, he gathered some of the companions in the mosque, in the house, and he said, you know, make a wish, whatever you want, you know, let's make it. Some of the companions said, I wish this room be filled with gold and silver and blah blah. And he said, look, no, I don't wish that. So I wish that this room is filled with people like Ali radiallahu anhu, Uthman, Ibn Jarrah, right, Khalid ibn Walid, and all these great people, right, all these great people that they didn't have money, but they had the right mindset, they had the right willpower, they had the right understanding, they had the right approach. So, you know, developing that human resource, and it starts from a young age. So as mosque leaders, this is something, the brothers listening, this is something should be our priority, right? Should be our priority, because who's going to look after the mosque when we pass away? Yeah, if we really want to, you know, develop the ummah, our local ummah in the UK, then this is where we need to prioritize. There's a lot of problems, yeah, but we are not a ummah where we give up. Yeah, there's always opportunities. There's always opportunities, but we have to come together. We're too individualistic at the moment. We have to come together as a community, inshallah, and provide the solution. We have the solutions, we just have to implement them, inshallah. Sorry about that. Go on, carry on.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. I think you made a great point about the sort of brain drain, if you like, where all our most talented people seem to go into tertiary education and sort of vocational jobs, as you mentioned. How do you see the roadmap to getting those candidates to go into sort of Islamic scholarships to become, you know, the alims of our day? So that was my question.
Very, very good question. Very good question. You know, the way I can give you, like, there are so many articles written, there's so many books written, yeah, right? And we can discuss this issue or this question all day, yeah. But allow me to, if I may, come from a very practical perspective, yeah. And it will depend on the answer to your question will depend on number of factors. One being, you know, what the, your children or the youth that we have influence over, what they want to do, or right, what you want them to do from a young age, yeah. and also depends obviously their aptitude and what we can't forget about that, but we can nurture that, we can develop that, right. People lack opportunities, not intelligence, because intelligence, how do you measure intelligence? Because intelligence is measured differently, right. Some people are academically very astute, as those same people, when they to build things, engineering and whatnot, they're not very good, right. So we as leaders, teachers, scholars, parents, we have to find those tools for ourselves to identify the skill sets that our children have. And the way I look at it, for instance, and you, brother Amir, right, your question, how do we kind of encourage and nurture scholars who have both the secular and the Islamic side, right? I think that's where I believe, right, one-to-one mentorship comes into place, especially in our society, right? You work with your teacher, you work with the scholars, as with parents and with the children, and you develop and devise a personal PDP. Really important personal development plan for your children, for yourself also, but also for your children. So for example, what they go to primary school, they go to secondary school, they go to college, university, yeah. But what you can do to boost their understanding of the word, understanding of Islam, and the PDP, you devise a good PDP for them that will help them. There are so many tools and there's so many opportunities, right, online, and alhamdulillah, we live in a world where information is readily available. It's how we utilize that. So one of the practical things I've been doing and I've been thinking for a long time is to develop a mentorship program, yeah, for in particular for children ages of from 13 to 12, 13 to 15, and then 15 to 18, two separate groups. So the condition that they would have to know how to read the Quran and certain conditions, right? And then you, with the teacher, with the parents, you develop, with the children, you develop a plan for them, where they further learn the Quran, further learn Islamic study in a fun, engaging manner. Not only that, they learn entrepreneurship, yeah, they learn creativity, right? They learn the skills that they can develop so they can earn on the side, web development, whatnot. As an example, this kind of approach, because we can't rely upon the school only. Schools, and for studies over studies have shown us that maybe 70% of the time is waste of time, to be honest, what they learn or what they don't learn. So we need to take opportunities, create opportunities for ourselves. So I think it has to start from that age, right? And guiding them, having mentors for them, right? Role models for them, guiding them throughout university, right? And the way if I have many young people. Just the other day, well, not the other day, but a while ago, someone came to me. He's about, I think, 18, 19, 20. Alhamdulillah, good student. Got good results in university or in college, right? He said that he wants to become a scholar and he wants to go abroad and study and stuff. And then what I told him, I said, don't. Yeah, don't. You're 17, you're 18, you're very young. You don't need to go abroad. Why do you need to go abroad? Go finish university. Yeah, finish university. I will help you. I will guide you to learn Arabic, to learn this, to learn that. Right? I'll become your personal mentor. Right? If you go abroad, then you will lose your way. You'll be all alone. You lose your way. You're still young, 18. Finish university. And the time, do some hibs, do some Arabic, Islamic studies. You do this, do that. You've got plenty of time. You're still young. You're very active. Your mind is very active. Once you finish university, get some experience. You'll be 21, 22. Then, if you really want to pursue, like become a full-time scholar, right? Then go, right? Get a degree, right? Get a vocation, get a degree, and then, right? If you really want to pursue that, because I would only advise people to go there if they really want to become scholars like Abu Hanifa, because many of them madrasas and Darul Ulooms and whatnot, right? They study 5-6 years. I wouldn't advise students to go there. Personally, I went through the system and stuff, and I would advise if if you want to become a daya and whatnot, there are other ways. If you become a daya and whatnot, there are other ways. So I mean, it's not a simple answer, brother Amin, but I think practically that's how I would look at it. Yeah, you know, the 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 best schools in the UK, in Europe, in America, right, are private, and people who pay maybe £30,000 a year for one student. Why? Because they have a plan for them. You know, most of us don't, can't imagine sending our children for £30,000 in private school, right? But I think we can create a similar system, right? A similar system. It's going to be very, very difficult, but I think it's not impossible to create a similar system where it can be achieved. Now, in London, in Newham, borough of Newham, there's a where it's a state school, but a good head teacher has come, right? And this year, 24 more, I think, right? Students have been accepted in Cambridge and Oxford, and the level of education, right, in that college or in that school in the last 5 years has grown 100%, right? Because there's good leadership, there's good parental involvement also. So I think it's possible, and we have to take, we can't rely on the government, we can't rely on the schools. We have to create our own opportunities, inshallah. Barakallahu feek.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. Sorry, can I just jump in again? I don't mean to drag out the conversation.
Sure.
I mean, a very cerebral answer, and that's hope for the future. But I actually was thinking a bit more cynically than that, in terms of if you had the salary at 80k, then that might be a tipping point for a lot of people, because if you're in a vocation, you want to have something at the end of it, and a lot, exactly. A big reason why people go into vocational jobs is because you're investing in the education so that you get something at the end of it. Yeah. Now, it sort of occurred to me, I'm part of the Three Faiths group, as you know, and we have sort of rabbis as part of that group. And one of the rabbis last year had to leave to go back to the States. And we sort of asked him, Jason, why are you going back? He said, I've got a better offer, basically. And we said, good luck, hope it all goes well. And then we sort of asked his colleagues, well, how much does a rabbi get at the synagogue? And they said 75k. So he left a 75k job as the rabbi of the synagogue to go back to the States for a better gig. So that potentially could be 100k. So I'm just wondering how we, as a ummah, head towards 100k salary imam, so that people are attracted to that as vocation.
Absolutely, I agree with you. Yeah, there's two things. One thing is that look, people who like many of our imams, many of our imams, fortunately, they don't speak English. Yeah, they don't have other skills apart from doing the prayer and teaching the kids. Even that I think is wanting in many areas. Yeah, they're not able to, like, they don't have leadership skills. They don't have the counseling skills, because imam, what they do is really counseling people, right? They don't have the counseling skills. They don't have other, they're not able to engage with the youth. They're not able to engage with the community and whatnot, right? So for someone to be paid like 70k on that, it'll be injustice. Yeah. But there are people now. I mean, now there are people who are able to engage with the, are able to do that, who have studied a long time, right? To be honest, right, when I engage with a lot of rabbis and and priests, yeah, the education level, right, they have better opportunities, yeah, perhaps they had better opportunities than I had, right? But they're not very, like, they're not like super intelligent, right? I would debate with them, and they would not be able to kind of counter back. They're not very, but the problem is they had more opportunity because the community has created more opportunities, and that's what the thing is. Now, if a mosque, for example, is able to pay an imam 50k, 60k, it's an average, yeah, has the ability, then there are people out there who have the skills to do that job. There are, right? But if a mosque is going to advertise, right, and have a salary like, X amount where it's not appealing, then you will have people who, for the sake of it, they will apply, or for people who don't have that experience, nor do have that knowledge base or skills base. So it needs a lot of thought. And to be honest, as I said, money is not the issue. A lot of mosques, I know, yeah, they worry about money. But if you have people, right, we live in a digital world, right, where there's fundraising opportunities. There's areas where you can you can. So if you have the right people, then they can create. You have the right skill set, they can create a good opportunity for themselves. Yeah. So I agree with you. Yes, you have to have, like, if you want to develop that, you have to have that caliber. You have to have that salary. End of the day, people need to, right, survive. People need to, right, put food on the table. Not only that, not just survive, right. You need to provide a good wage for the imam, scholars, and teachers and whatnot. So they don't focus on other ways of earning, right? They don't focus other ways of earning. So their only focus is development. The only focus is education, the knowledge they impart, and the leadership that they provide. It's difficult, but I don't think it's impossible. I'll give you one example. Yeah, I was at a mosque in London, and I'm not going to mention, right? Now the mosque was okay in terms of financially okay, but they were not great. Yeah, so I said to them, look, this is something you need to hire more teachers and whatnot, right? You can't rely upon me to do everything. Yeah. I said, look, this is the way we can fundraise. This is the way we can fund. You've got a good number of people. These are the ideas, but you need to have people. So what they said, you go and do it. And within 1 year, alhamdulillah, we raised a good amount of money so we can hire more teachers and give more to other stuff, right? So my thing is, right, if there is a will, there is a way. If we have to have the right mindset, right? If we are sincere, have the right mindset, Allah will provide. Allah will provide. So you're absolutely right, Brother Amir, right? But you asked me, how do you do that? I come back to the my answer of is having that right mindset, having a vision, right? Having a vision that you have a collective of people who have the same vision, and you put your effort in, right? And Allah will provide the way out. Look, I mean, the Arabs, for God's sakes, they were people who lived in mud houses, huts. The Arabs, they will live mud houses, but when Islam came, everything changed. They went from that to conquering the palaces of Caesar and Caesar and Persia, made of marbles and gold. But they had the knowledge, yes, they had the skill set, but they had that right mindset. So I think it's not impossible. As a community, we're still young, but we need to show the way, inshallah, to show the way. And I think it's possible with the right leadership, with the right vision, with the right manpower. It's very, very possible, inshallah. So yeah, I hope that answered your question.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh.
Okay, Jazakallah khair, that was good. Thank you, Sheikh, as always. And actually, this kind of leads on to Sheikh's break tomorrow, which is actually focused on the youth. So please, people, if you can join, spread the message, join, and listen in to our youth and see what they have to say about some of the challenges they're facing in today's world. And hopefully, inshallah, it'll be a good conversation.
Inshallah. Okay. We'll end here with the dua, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept the time that you're spending online. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable us to open our mosques, all of them, and securely and safely, so we can congregate and offer salats together and other activities. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep all of you safe. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep all of your family members safe. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable our experts and doctors to find a vaccine for this coronavirus pandemic. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cure the sick and the ill. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive and grant Jannah to Firdaus to those who have passed away. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide all of our youth to what is best for the dunya, also in the for the akhirah. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. سبحانك ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله أجمعين. Until next time, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'll see you. We have a Friday also tafsir, 8 p.m. again. I'll see you then. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.